Turn your greatest weakness into your greatest strength. When I say your greatest weakness, I mean the characteristic that stops you from accomplishing your main goals in life. This is an abstract example, but let's say your greatest weakness is that you're not clean, you have bad hygiene. Start showering 3 times a day. You're already clean, you showered twice already today, shower a third time anyway. If your worst characteristic is that you're late all the time, start being super early everywhere you go. To hang out with your friends, to go to a meeting, to go to work. Start showing up to work 45 minutes early every day. Push it to the extreme, to the point that it's weird, to the point that people say, why is that guy that early to work every day? Does he not have a life? Make it your most defining characteristic. I worked with this guy who was super early all the time. Apparently, I either got to work just on time or a little late. So I'm not completely sure, but I heard he was early a lot. And so he didn't show up to work for whatever reason one day. And somebody said, have you seen Davis? And the supervisor said, oh, he must not be showing up today, because if he were going to be here, he'd be here. He's the first one through the door. She said it with confidence. He was defined in her mind by that characteristic. Have people say, I don't know about this, but I know that Steve is always on time. I don't know about that, but I know that Mary is a woman of her word. From what I can see for myself, my worst characteristic is procrastination. I'll literally go years saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I saw a friend of mine who I don't hardly see very often anymore. I hadn't seen him in about a year. And I said, yeah, man, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And he said, man, you've been saying you was going to start a YouTube channel. And then I went like another year without actually starting the channel. If procrastination is your biggest problem, jump on an idea, time it pops into your head before God gives the idea to Prince. Kenny Ortega was putting together the Michael Jackson This Is It tour, the last tour that Michael Jackson did. And if I get the story correctly, Michael was working on new music at the same time. And he wasn't getting a lot of sleep. And, but he said the creator was flowing through him and he had to put down this work. And Kenny said, Michael, can't you just wait and do this later and wait till we get to London? Then you have the studio in your house and we'll be able to do it then. And Michael said, no, I can't do that. And Kenny said, why not? And Michael said, because God might give all the ideas to Prince. If procrastination is your problem, live like that. Like, time you get an idea, you got to jump on it right that second, or else it'll be taken away from you and you'll never be able to do it. You're living with your parents and you decide you want to get your own place. The second you get the idea, go to your computer or your phone and start looking up apartments right then. The second you find an apartment within your monetary range, call them up right then. Oh, you're nervous talking to people, you're scared dealing with people, doesn't matter. Just pick up the phone and start dialing the number. Once you're there, you're going to do whatever you need to do. See, you don't have to reach a point of not being afraid in order to do something. You can be the same normal, scared you. Just push yourself in the situation. And then once you're there, naturally, you're going to do what you need to do. I apply it to everything. And I take my trash out as soon as possible. Apply it to everything in your life, because that way it'll become a natural habit. You'll start to think that way. Make it a priority in your life, because for some reason this doesn't seem to come natural to you. What most people do is the opposite of that. Most people do what seems to come natural to them, and what doesn't, they don't do. Oh man, I can't stand studying. So they end up not studying. No, you need to make this a priority because it doesn't seem to come natural to you. See, if you've got a busted leg, you might be willing to walk with crutches. You're willing to do this extra thing because you have this handicap. If you've got diabetes, you might be willing to take pills at a certain time every day to prick your finger. You're willing to go through all this work and pain and sacrifice because you have this handicap. So because for whatever reason this is a problem for you, you need to make it a priority. You need to put extra energy into this area. And then that's it. Once you've done that, you've got no more problems. Like, your gift is easy for you. But for a songwriter writes songs naturally in his head without even realizing that he's doing it. For a comedian, you might be in a place where you think the last thing I should do right now is make a joke, and a joke will pop in your head anyway. Your gift for you is effortless. That's not the hard part. What's hard for a lot of people is getting to the place where you can let your gift out. So get to that place by getting out of your own way, by turning your greatest weakness into your greatest strength. Malik Rudo.